Bad guy in a little coat. Bad guy in a little coat.
A little bit drier weather today. We'll give it another try out here, ride it a little bit more, and then we'll go over what I've done to get it to this point as far as the brake pedal, throttle pedal, chain tensioners, chain sprocket setup, and all that. Well, let's go ride it. So we're back from the test drive. I did a quick wash job on it, get the mud and the grass off. So what did we do to get to this point? So as you can see, the brake setup on this thing, this was part of a kit that a subscriber donated to me that had another axle with it, but the axle was a lot smaller. So I needed the width on this one, which I already ordered it. So what I did, instead of ordering another brake setup, I just utilized the caliper and the master cylinder and kind of reconfigured it. So this pedal kit, you guys have seen in a previous video, this is a piece of scrap bracket that I had. I cut and modified this, and here's my bracket. You have your clevis, your adjustment rod, which you can adjust in and out to get your pedal position where you want it. Turn the line, flip the line to get to this. We run it through the body because I don't want it to get burnt on the exhaust. And then it runs back to the caliper. Bleeder's on top. That's a rotor that I bought. I'll put some links to some of the description of the parts and stuff in here. You do. Or links in the description, I should say. There's the mount. That's just a piece of DOM tubing that I welded to the side of the frame. So here's the back side with the caliper and the rotor. So just the DOM tubing, built a couple spacers out of some smaller tubing, made a bracket right here, right there, and mounted the caliper to it. There we are. So this is just a hub that has an adapter piece built into it to fit this rotor. And then of course you guys seen the bearing mounts for the axle. We done another video. Here's the main drive sprocket. I can't remember, I'll look it up when I edit the video. I think this thing's like a 66 tooth or so. I got really lucky just with the way that the number that I chose. And this thing hauls butt. Like I'm 290 pounds and this thing hauls me around like nothing.
Shit, boy.
So obviously notch the frame to clear the sprocket and the chain. Do your research before you start welding stuff and making stuff. Where is this gonna live, that gonna live? That's what you end up with. Not the end of the world. This thing's plenty strong. So in here, we have the Jackshafts. Now, you can go huge. This is 5/8 keywayed. I bought it and the bearings on, I believe, eBay. I'll put a link to the
you had your
item, or I'll just take a screenshot of it and put it in the video. So I bought those. It has what, two jack shafts, front and rear, little 13 tooth or 12 tooth sprockets. Those are tensioners that I bought on, I think, Amazon or eBay one. These things are like $6 a piece. That one particularly has a set of bearings in it. Now I've seen people use like skateboard wheels or whatever, and basically a bolt. It'll work. It doesn't matter what you use. This is something simple that I could use, so I just bought them. Instead of buying a skateboard and ripping it all apart and doing all that, or ordering just a set of wheels, I'll order a tensioner that's made for the tensioner to do its job. So that's what I'm using. That is a bolt welded to the frame, 2 washers, lock washer, full tension, tighten, good to go. There is springs that come with these. I didn't feel like welding another stop point on the frame just to catch the spring, and I can't really adjust the tension of the spring, if that makes sense. So that's what I did. Slide it, tighten it, good to go. Excuse the mess of all the tools in the background, but I kind of thrashed to get this thing done. So here's your pillow block bearing. It comes as a kit, what I bought. You got the pillow block bearings, 2 each in a set. I think there were, I don't know, I'm not even gonna quote it. I'll put it on the screen. But I bought 4 pillow block bearings, a long length, a 5/8 shaft for the jack shafts, and then I bought all the sprockets to use to run each thing front to back. So, I mean, ideally, the reason I did this way, I didn't want the chain running on the outside of the cart and, catch a kid's finger or what have you. So I run it underneath of it. This thing's got plenty of ground clearance. The rear tires on this thing are 20 inches tall, so it's definitely up off the ground. All right, so here's the throttle setup. This is a piece of 1/8 inch C-channel that I welded to the outside of the frame. This is 1/8 inch angle iron, and I cut it off the top side, probably half the distance, cut a slit in it to slide the cable through, pull the stud back through, cable slides in, tighten your 2 jam nuts, welded a bolt here, modified a spring that I got from a hardware store. So that's my spring for my throttle return. Cable is like ridiculously long, so that's why it's all looped around and swooped and whatever. But typically your go-karts are made to be rear engine. So yes, you would need a cable this long, but it works. So, yep, mount that. Have a washer in between the two to kind of space it off. And then this is just a bolt that I cut down because normally it has a lock nut on the back. But I ran it in and I didn't want to catch it on here, so I just cut it off. Good to go, Loctite. These are just spacers just to keep that eyelet from walking around. But then I took the factory on-off switch and got a couple butt connectors, some 2-pair wire, crimped that up. And now where my hand throttle was from the first test drive, I got a kill. Push the button, it dies.